Not a whole lot going on in the markets in here today relative to what we had been in this big bloodbath that we've been in the past week and a half or so. It seems like everybody's just kind of waiting around for the big NVIDIA earnings report happening tomorrow after hours. So we're going to see what happens in tomorrow's trading session, what kind of setups we're going to have. Are we going to get a run up, IV expansion, collapse? What is going to happen? Probably more of the same of what we have had in here today, but obviously things could change between now and then in the overnight session and then pre-market tomorrow. In this video specifically, though, we're going to focus on two relatively low stocks in here. They've been sort of gotten beaten up in here in the past week or so, but they ended green in today just slightly, and they both have relatively low IV. So the first up, we are going to be looking in here at DAL. That's going to be Delta. We're trading at 83.62. So we had a pretty decent run in here ever since April, right? So we got all the way up in here. We're back to those highs or close to it, to those 95s, a little pullback. And then you had that nice little rally in here going into August. And then obviously the past few weeks just kind of straight down. But coming off a few bad weeks in here, we have an indecision little doji in here with a green. So we're liking what we're seeing so far as a setup. We're going to see if we can kind of hold this area that we're holding right here. So first up, we are watching that $83 level. That is kind of like our first major support in here that we do need to hold. Anything below that, we are looking at that 81.93, and then below there, we're looking down here at this $78 range for a nice big support. To the upside in here, we're looking at that 9-day EMA sitting at $85. Above there, we're looking at 88. Then we're watching that 91.65 area for a nice ceiling in here for us on this weekly chart. Your RSI relatively neutral in here, nothing to worry about. Volume has dropped off pretty dramatically ever since July in here. So if we can get a little bit of a uptick here in our volume, then obviously the stock price should go with us in here. Now, as far as your IV, we did mention that both of these stocks that we're going to talk about have relatively low IV. Delta has an IVR in here of 4. So not a whole lot of an expected move in here priced in by your options traders in this security. About a $2 expected move priced in by this Friday. It looks like if you go out to next Friday, right around a $4 expected move, and then you can go all the way out to that September monthly expiration, about a $6 expected move being priced in here by your options trader. So not a decent-ish move, but your volatility is not where you would really like it in here, as if you're trying to kind of sell some premium. But definitely there is some moves in here to take advantage of for sure if you are trying to get in here and look for some sort of IV expansion. Now, our other stock we're going to look in here is going to be CCL. That's going to be Carnival. We are up about 43 cents on the day, trading just above that $26 range. To the upside in here, we are going to be watching this 9-day EMA. You can see it's basically right up against this previous support and resistance line right here at that 27.16 mark. Anything outside of there, we're going to be watching this 50-day SMA right here. You can see that was a lot of weight for the past 2 weeks in here. You can see we had that red doji wrapped right around it last week. We opened up against it. Obviously, the floor dropped out from under us last week, but that was a spot that was a harsh resistance for us. So that is going to be our main area of concern if we can close above the 27. So that's going to be sitting at 28.10, that is. Anything outside of there, we're looking at that 30.24, and then obviously above there, we're just going to go nice whole numbers, 31, 32, 33, etc. To the downside in here, we're riding this lower trend line of this overall structure in here. So this first area of business right here is going to be that 25 and a half area. Anything below here, we are going to be looking at this 23. We're going to say it's about 23.92. So almost 24 down here for a nice place of footing. You can see that that was a place that we just kind of bounced off of in here, going all the way back in March. We kind of got close to it in here back in May. But then we had a nice recovery, but then it's all going to be about this lower trend line right here going forward. Your RSI in here is relatively, it's not relatively, it is neutral in the weekly chart compared to itself. With a low IV in here, your IVR is sitting at 15, about a 72-cent expected move priced in by this Friday. Next Friday, about $1.20. If you go all the way out to your September 18th expiration, that's going to be your monthlies. Right around a $2 expected move is being priced in by these options traders. So let's see what happens in here as we continue throughout the week in both of these stocks. And obviously, everything is going to hinge on NVIDIA earnings. What type of moves are going to happen? Are we going to see something that's going to move the whole markets, or are we really going to move just a little bit here and there? That is going to be the big question. Let's see what happens in here as we continue on throughout this week and then the end of the month. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.